Hey folks, it's Hooves of Doom, and I'm here with Mrs. Hooves again. Basically, we were hoping to maybe talk about a little bit about what happened at Holy Havoc, but also just a few other little updates and topics that we wanted to cover. I promise I won't make you do these too often.
Thank you.
All right.
Wasn't it my idea today?
It was, yeah. Well, I think you wanted to play this game.
I don't want to give people the idea that you're forcing me to do this.
Yeah, there we go. So it's once in a blue moon.
Once in a while. Be okay.
So the first thing is that for Holy Havoc, we were supposed to make a display board.
Oops.
It didn't happen.
Nope.
You were in charge of that. What went wrong there?
I said several months ago I'd do that, but then totally went out of my head, and I wasn't looking at the rules or anything. Perhaps I should have been, but...
She let us down.
Yeah, I did.
Lost huge points in painting. No. So... But part of it is I don't think you've ever seen a display board.
No, I had no idea what it was, so now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know what we didn't have.
Pretty easy to make?
Yeah, it seemed pretty straightforward.
Straightforward, okay.
Yeah.
I expect a great display board for the next tournament then. I don't know. I don't know how to really build them. I think maybe you could make a coherent display board for each alliance in Age of Sigmar, so that you can, rather than having one for an individual army. I don't know. I don't know. It's like that arts and crafts part of the hobby again that I just don't understand.
I think just being there, I got some ideas of what they could look like, and they can be very simple, or you can kind of go all out.
Styrofoam painted brown. That's what I'm going for. Yeah. So should we probably make a display board for future events?
Yeah, I think we should. I think it should be complete. I didn't realize that we had to have one. Well, I knew you said that we could have one.
Yeah.
So, and then it promptly went away in my mind. So
you gotta focus on the details. Nah.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is that people do use magnets on their models to, so that they can easily move around, and some people have their weapons on magnets so they can switch it out. And
I don't know about the weapons, but I liked the way it looked and the way it was easy to, you could move stuff around without feeling like things were going to go flying.
No, that's true.
And I think that's why I liked it. I don't know about the functionality of it.
Yeah. Using a lot of magnets is something I've never been that huge fan of. I think it's because it just came out of the blue for me. I was, somewhat out of the hobby, and then when I kind of got back into it and was more aware of what the community is doing, it's what are these magnets people are talking about? Now everyone's using magnets, and I don't know, it just seems like a cost thing,
an extra cost that's not...
Well, I think it's mostly designed to reduce the cost on so you can...
How?
Well, if you have specific weapons that you wanted to switch out.
Okay. I see.
I don't know if it's in fantasy. I don't think that's as
to
much
me,
a deal.
I don't think it's going to save you any cost. I think it would end up costing you.
Well, the magnets can be pretty cheap, but it does take a little bit more work
them.
that's true. But they're a couple bucks. They're not much.
Yeah.
I think for me, as someone that just wants lots of models, I don't mind having multiple ones with
different weapons.
Yeah, different weapons.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me, but I totally get that. But for the boards, for 8th edition, it was very common to kind of have those so your units wouldn't go flying all the time. In Age of Sigmar,
for that reason, I like it. I don't know.
It has some practical use.
Yeah.
We usually end up just having our models in huge piles or something, but we've been moving those around.
Don't tell our secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's gonna copy that.
Like we did at the tournament, we just dumped them all in the and tried to figure out who was who. Yeah.
Horrible organizational skills.
Yes. We need to work on that.
But the other good thing is, I think, this is what probably your biggest exposure to the hobby in general, going to that tournament and seeing.
And by the way, I enjoyed meeting everybody we played against. I had a really good time. I was still a little bit nervous and a bit intimidated because I don't play that well. I don't remember numbers well. And that's hard in this game if you don't remember numbers very well.
Yeah.
So I was kind of glued to the page or frozen in fear, and Matt would have to prompt me. So, I still need a lot of practice as far as that goes.
Right. Well, I think in terms of the gaming, I took a little bit more of an active role.
Definitely, and you had to, or we would have been there all day.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know if our opponents may have thought that was weird or strange to have kind of because it is supposed to be a team.
And that I actually felt bad about that. I felt bad that I couldn't.
I don't think you should.
I did. I felt like I wasn't holding up my end of the team. So
don't worry, I rocked for both of us, so you don't need to worry about that.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I think one thing is that you need to look at the War Scroll fairly regularly. But I think
constantly. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Trying to give you a break.
Say it right out. Okay.
But I think my point being is that most of the time people did have to look up rules.
Yeah, so, I actually that made me feel a little bit better when I saw other people having to look up. The stats or whatever.
Now, it just so happens I have an amazing memory. So when we're playing at home, I have it all down pat, and there's no problem.
He's not joking. Well, he thinks he's joking, but he really does remember the minutest details of the stats. So
I'm a complete nerd. What can you say? But
I love you that way, so that's okay.
All right, we're getting way off track here. No, so my point being that this is your first major exposure to a tournament and a wider gaming community. Prior to this, the only person you played against was me, maybe Ryan. A couple games, but very limited. I don't even think you looked at like the magazines or anything to really know. So seeing what other people could paint, the display boards were all new. But I think it kind of got you a little bit more motivated as well.
Yeah, I would really love to start painting.
There you go.
I don't know how good I'll be at it, and I know everybody says, in the beginning you're not good. That's fine. But will I stick with it if I don't feel like I'm making something that's attractive? Sure. I mean, and I saw so many well-painted models at the tournament.
Yeah.
Every army I saw, I was like, wow, that's really nice.
Yeah, really great armies really there, definitely.
And I felt a little bad about that too, because I felt like, I don't know, people just thought I was crazy. But I really loved all the armies I saw. I enjoyed looking at how other people painted things and their vision for colors and things like that. I just really, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that part a great deal.
Part of it is like I only have a couple painted armies. I'm working on it, but you haven't seen that many painted armies and that much.
Right, I see a lot of gray.
And so there are
most of the time, or black.
Yeah,
they've been primed. Yeah,
that's one step.
That's pretty much what I see.
But this gave you an opportunity to see different armies that we haven't really even played much with, even though I might own them or something. But so that was kind of a good opportunity.
And I'd kind of like to have like my own army. I mean, the undead have always been mine. That's what I started with, and And don't judge me, but I started with the Black Coach. I loved the Black Coach. Obviously, it does nothing now.
It's a classic model.
But I just liked the way it looked. I just thought that was fun. And that actually is the first model I ever painted. So, and then I did skeletons and.
Yeah, you did paint back in the day.
I did a little bit, but I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and I didn't watch any tutorials.
Sure. No, I think I repainted them.
Yeah, I think you did.
Was probably a terrible move on my part.
No, I think that was a good idea.
Well, it's a little bit, when someone else takes over your work and just redoes it, it's a little bit discouraging. And that was not my intention.
I think if we were going to use them, though, they needed to be repainted, and I wasn't going to do it. So, yeah.
But, so I think going forward, you've expressed interest in painting some terrain. Mm-hmm. I have lots of unpainted terrain. Some of the bigger kits.
I think that might get me going initially because it's big.
Yeah, you can
and
learn.
I can see it really well and see the detail really well, and I think I might have a better
Sure.
ability to paint something like that.
I think a lot of the most basic techniques you can learn through painting terrain because it's a very broad, I mean it's rather big. You're only using maybe a couple colors,
Right.
and then you're using like the actual skills involved for not every terrain, but I think most of them are fairly basic. But more importantly, I think you really want to work on some wood elves. It's one of the few armies that you can have most of the models be women.
I like that too. I would like to see an army of women,
Yeah.
or a women-dominated army.
Dominated. Uh-oh.
Uh-huh.
But, well, yeah, so that's definitely a possibility. They got some cool archer units that are all female now, right from the Wood Elves. They kind of came over, and those could be interesting.
I like the way those models look too.
Yeah.
I just like I like elves anyway. So
So you're gonna put your own money into this army?
I'll have to, won't I?
All right, sounds good.
Can I get an increase in my allowance?
What? Only if I do.
All right. As soon as
Yeah,
you get
maybe.
a job, we'll do that. Okay.
Yeah. All right. 2018, I guess.
2018.
Yeah, and so I guess that's kind of the plan is you're going to start working on some wood elves. And work, yeah. I think that'd be a good army to kind of work on, and it's already got a little bit of painted models that I finished earlier this year.
Yeah, and I like them. I like the colors you use and stuff, so I think
Okay.
I would enjoy that.
And I think I can teach you some of the most basic techniques for painting in terms of...
I know you can point me to tutorials too.
Yeah, the old
as you've
Warhammer
done.
TV of Duncan. That's how to
Yeah.
go. That's
Well, you've done that a lot, and it worked out well for you, I think. So.
Well, they're really basic, concepts that create fairly well painted models in the end. And once you understand the basics, like I think, when people first approach painting for the first time, and they want to paint boots or a cloak or something, and they want the cloak to be brown, they just paint brown, and that's the very first step, and then you do the shade and highlights and layers and stuff like that. So that's where most people, when they first start painting, they get kind of, okay, I painted everything base colors and it looks like crap because there's just looks like a glob of paint on there.
Down over there, Buster.
Yeah, stupid dog. What the hell's he doing?
I don't know. Moaning and groaning.
But so I think I can point you in that direction, and we can kind of work on it together. But I think you do have the technical. First off, it's all just practice. But I think, you worked on some bases and stuff like that, and I think you did a good job at having those applied. You didn't get mud everywhere or something.
Only all over my hands.
Wow. Well, if you paint, you'll probably get paint all over your hands
Okay.
too. That's the name of the game.
I can handle that.
So let's look at the gaming side of Holy Havoc. What did you think of the pros and cons of the army?
I felt bad. Actually, sorry, it's just my personality. I felt bad that people were getting killed by the Morgulls, and I like to see action like that happening, but I like to see it all over, not just one-sided. I don't like to go in, and I don't think I'll ever like that. Go in and just like dominate. And I don't know that we did dominate every game, but we certainly made it difficult for people, and I felt other people's angst when that was happening. Their frustration that there wasn't a lot that they could do against the Morgulls, and Morgulls, yeah.
Yeah, the Morgulls were pretty brutal.
They were.
Part of it is not everyone's played against Morgulls. Not everyone's played against a death army in general, or against Nagash, or So we were afraid before going in that we played a lot of games prior to the tournament with that army, and it was very one-sided. There was not like a single game where we came close to beating it. Now, part of it is I don't have like the equivalent army with the rest of my forces, but that was kind of a fear that if you're on the receiving end of Mongols and Nagash, you might not be too fun.
Yeah, and it was that combination. Although the Mongols are pretty powerful, but with Nagash on the board, it just was.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not fair, really.
The
not that life is, but
I think it's generally considered a rule that, you know, if you're playing a game and people are dying on either side, that makes a really interesting game for both players. If everything's dying on one side, it's not as fun. And the thing about the Mongol is that they can be so resilient to the point where it's just not perhaps entertaining to be on. For us, it's like, ha, 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 we made all our saves again and we're slaughtering them. But if you're the opponent and you absolutely cannot kill the Mongol, it might not be as fun. So
it wasn't really fun for me to be killing everybody.
Okay.
I don't feel good when that happens. I'd like it to be a little more equitable, you know?
No way, man.
Yeah, I know. See, some people probably just would think that was great, but I did not enjoy that, and I left a couple of games feeling kind of sad that that the other people didn't get to use their army the way that they had hoped, you know? And I felt bad about that. So that's just me.
Sure. Yeah, we had you know, a couple of our opponents could not compete with the army, and you know, it's hard not to feel like that emotional thing, because like you don't want to absolutely just destroy them completely, utterly. I mean, you want to win through the objectives, you want to win through tactics, not just having all the tools in your toolbox and they can't do much about it. Part of that, I mean, you know, everyone had the opportunity to pick whatever they wanted prior to the thing, but that was a concern of mine, that we were going in with too much. And part of it, we didn't have a lot of feedback prior. I mean, we knew Vince and Tom were bringing loads of filth, and they absolutely did. And there were a couple other armies like that. Most of the other armies I felt were fairly more balanced. They did not necessarily take all the absolute best selections they can. Part of that's, you know, you have to get it painted, you have to buy the models, you have to have them. So not everyone has that potential or capacity to do that. But so that was, you know, a couple of the games were definitely a little bit too one-sided.
I felt bad cheering too. I felt like people thought I was like rubbing it in or something when their army was doing well, or one of their characters.
Condescending.
Yeah, I felt like people thought I was being, and I wasn't. I really was enjoying the fact that they were actually doing some damage to us. I liked that, and I felt like that's not how my attitude was received. So I felt bad.
Well, again, I think that's just part of the tournament as well. Because we've had games at home where, like, if you know, by turn 2, if you're absolutely winning, it's like, well, why am I playing this? Like, and so like we've
stopped games.
We've stopped games. You know, if one person gets a little bit bitter than or the other, that's not how you want to play the game necessarily.
No.
But I think tournaments always have that potential.
And I don't like that.
Yeah, it's a negative side, I guess, when you get games like that.
Yeah.
You don't want your opponents to ever feel too badly. Like I said, like if both armies are absolutely destroyed, but you win through objectives, it's a little bit more of a, well, you know, everyone did well. I just did much, much better.
Yeah. So maybe painting's my thing, not gaming. We'll see.
So I guess like we're going to talk a little bit more about the atmosphere, but would you want to go to another tournament?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not by myself, that's for sure. I am not confident enough a player to go on my own. So.
Yeah.
But then when we play as a team, then I am relying on you, really, which maybe if I played on my own, I wouldn't have you to rely on, and I'd have to do it myself. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever be that confident. I'm not a terribly confident person in the first place, so yeah. I don't know.
It was a pretty relaxed atmosphere.
It was everything that was promised, really. It was fun. everybody there was nice. They were kind.
Sure.
It just...
I'm always amazed that like tournaments work. That like this game is widely understood by enough people that you could, go to a table with a completely random stranger that also knows the rules and things work. That the game functions. But it does. But there's always a little bit of awkwardness when you first meet someone you don't know.
Well, that's true anywhere.
Yeah.
And, I think in the gaming community, people tend to have more awkward personalities anyway. So in some ways, I think the tournament proved to me that even though that's true, people were great. I mean, it didn't seem like a socially awkward atmosphere. People were
funny,
laughing and people seemed comfortable, and that says a lot, I think.
Well, I mean, even though in context of broader society, we're all kind of weird people. I think once you're in a group of weird people, it all makes sense.
You were all weird together, so yeah.
We're all normal then. Now we were supposed to dress up, and I had like this cute vest with a tie, and I bought like a dress shirt, and we were supposed to be like vampire caretakers. And
that was the idea.
You had a nice dress and boots and everything. And about 5 minutes before like the first game, we were like, absolutely screw this.
No, it just didn't feel right. It didn't seem right.
Well,
and that would have made me so much more uncomfortable.
Well, it draws more attention to us.
Exactly, yeah. Which I would have hated. So I don't know what my idea was about.
More, it's like 8 hours of like uncomfortable gaming. And that just, what's the point?
So true.
So.
I was quite happy when we ditched that idea.
Yeah, I mean the amount of
I relaxed.
That's true.
As soon as we made the decision, it was like, yes, that was the right decision. Not.
It's funny because like you were like focused on that for months.
I honestly think I was
spent loads of money buying these costumes.
I think I was focused on it to focus on something other than the gaming piece. I think I could focus my attention on something else, and that did not make me nervous until I got there. Then it was like, that made me nervous.
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, I was nervous when we first got there, too.
I would have liked to have just hidden in the hotel room.
Yeah, well, for the first little while, that was my plan, too. I was painting, but yeah, it was, I don't know. Breaking the ice was going down there and meeting the tournament organizer.
Yeah.
And,
than you coming up and saying you need to come down.
Well, and I think it worked because
it really helped me to play that game Friday night with Tom and Vince, because then I knew that I could at least participate on some level.
Yeah, and I think there's, again, because you're somewhat inexperienced, I think you maybe it's just Age of Sigmar, and maybe 8th was a little bit. I never attended any tournaments during 8th, but there's a perception that this is a very, very strategic game, and the tournament will be like, all right, we're sitting down, we're playing this uber game, everyone's got to be focused, it's all about like making the absolute right moves. Age of Sigmar is a little bit more relaxed, I guess, in that regard. Like, we're not
making the right moves. That was on my mind. I don't know about thinking it was going to be some, I thought people were going to be laughing and things like that, so it was when people weren't laughing that it made me feel bad.
Yeah, true enough.
So, but that happened a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. So expectations, what was it exactly as you were thinking? Pretty much, yeah. I wasn't sure if there would be more like anger. I know from my own family and things, when people lose games, they tend to lose it. So I didn't know if there would be more anger and that kind of thing. That's kind of why I've always not been attracted to gaming, because I don't like people
getting pissed off when they
Sure.
when they don't win, because
Yeah.
somebody's got to lose. So
Again, I think that used to be.
but I didn't see that at all. I felt I sensed people's frustration at the imbalance, I think, more than anything else. But it was never, no one. I didn't see anyone take the table and
Flip it.
I didn't see any of that. So
Well, people used to get mad at, like, if you're rolling a bunch of dice and the dice go bad, it used to be kind of a thing where the dice would go flying across the room. People would get mad. But
yeah,
I
see, I
think,
would not like that.
Yeah, Age of Sigmar
that would
is
make me
very
uncomfortable.
I think Age of Sigmar is just more relaxed, and especially this narrative tournament was kind of lending itself.
I loved the tables. I wish I could have played a game on every table, because I love the way they look. I was glad that the practice game we played was on the table with the big spider, because that was awesome. I loved that.
Yeah.
They were beautiful. I just would have loved to have played on every one. And
well, compared to the crap we normally play.
well,
on.
I know we play on a very plain thing.
Yeah,
so.
we need to spruce it up. I think we need a new battle map. This is not bad, but we need some variety.
I was looking at those this morning.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was.
There's several different companies. Some of them are pretty.
Christmas is coming,
Ooh, Christmas. And they're on sale right now too. The other thing you need to work on is we need to paint our Realm of Battle board. We need to get that finally up.
I know. We paid a lot of money for that, and it sits in its.
It's been sitting there for like 7 years,
container.
unpainted. We've used it twice.
Is that something I could work on?
Yeah, probably.
As a starting.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's that too difficult to do. There's lots of videos on YouTube you can follow. There's even one, I think, by Games Workshop that they did.
We should do that. We should totally do that.
Yeah, we'll so make that project for maybe 4 or 5 years down the road, something like that. We'll see. I would like to have it out.
Keep in mind, I haven't any projects right now, so.
Well, wood elves, but I guess we need to buy more wood elves before we can work on that. So we'll get you started.
Maybe I'll buy you wood elves for Christmas so that I can.
No, come on.
You can open my project. That'd be awesome.
Yes, I might get to play with them at least. All right, so a couple of just last things to talk about. I guess we've already talked about some of this stuff.
Yeah, we don't need to go there anymore.
What was the boys' club? How was it like being the only female at the tournament?
That's something I kind of expected, and it proved to be fairly true. And I don't think I would want to change that necessarily, because when guys get together, guys are guys, and that's how it is,
Yeah, no, I get you. I mean, I think one thing that you pointed out, I think you're in some ways more comfortable being in a group of guys than you would be like a room purely of women.
That is true, actually.
So, a little bit easier in some regard, and just in terms of how
I feel like there's not as many expectations for a woman in a group of guys as there is for a woman in a group of women. There are much harsher expectations that women would have. And maybe that's not always true, but I think in this case it was true. I think when I'm thinking about like the boys' club, what I'm thinking about is language, which I don't use a lot of strong language. I just didn't grow up doing that and have never done it. And I know guys use a lot of language, and I'm not that uncomfortable with it. But I felt like some guys were trying not, like, holding back their language, which I don't think they need to do that. I don't think that needs to change just because there's a woman in the room. I mean, women, I know some women who can swear like, well, my dad was a sailor, so, although my dad didn't talk like that, not in front of me anyway.
True.
But,
I, on the other hand, swear constantly.
So I'm used to it. I guess
military,
that's what I'm trying to say. I'm used to it. What can I say?
Yeah.
I don't think things like that need to change to attract. I think most women would be fine with that.
Yeah, I do think it is somewhat of a barrier for why women might not be into the hobby.
I don't know. I think most women use that type of language now.
No, I'm not talking. I'm just talking about like the fact that most of the community is male. Do you think that that's an issue for expanding the base?
Yeah, I think the more women you could get involved, it would multiply. I
Sure.
think the more women you would have. I was happy to meet Steve's wife, that she was just there. That it was nice to have her in the room and know that she, I talked to her just briefly, and she is someone who has done gaming and she wants to do more of that. So it was nice to talk to her, and she was a perfectly normal woman. There was nothing.
Sure.
So I think getting women into the hobby.
This might be a topic for a different video.
Yeah, I think a different video, because I do have a lot of ideas about that. I'm not sure I'm the best woman to talk about it, because I'm very different.
Fairly masculine, and
yeah,
you're kind of.
I'm a very different.
You're fairly independent in that regard,
right? Which is probably why I'm not so comfortable in a room full of women.
Yeah. Well,
because I'm very, very different. My interests, since childhood, my interests have been very different.
Yeah, I mean, you play a lot of video games and stuff as well, which is unusual as well. So
yeah, I take things apart and put them back together.
Yeah,
and I know how to use tools
well,
and whatnot. So
yeah,
I'm very different.
I don't do any like handiwork around the house at all. It's all you. So
I can build things. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very different. So in that way, which may be part of my attraction to this too. I don't know, because it is kind of, you've got to put things together, and
yeah,
I don't know.
It's new and different, and it's definitely kind of a unique hobby.
It is. I love it. I love it because of that, I think.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different components to it. It's not just gaming.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's a really good hobby all in all. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, the tournaments are they're fun to meet lots of people that have the exact same interests as you. And part of that's what I was saying earlier about how the game actually works. Because, I can go and maybe I don't have much of a Nurgle army, but it's cool to see Nurgle army, and people have all sorts of different things, and there's definitely a lot of painting techniques and stuff that you really liked at the tournament, and how the appearance of different armies looked, and so on and so forth. But one of the major negative traits about having a room full of guys is body odor, which it does come up. There's it was on a couple podcasts recently. Discussion about it.
That, I will tell you right now, will turn women off. But at the same time, guys it's just what they do.
Sure.
It's just how they are. So
I shouldn't have eaten that chili, and maybe I should have had it, in the morning I should have had a shower or something, but.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm joking, of course. It's mostly just the fact that you get a relatively small room crammed with just people. I don't know if that's really avoidable.
However, I will say that I've not experienced that level of odor at like a conference or
right,
okay. Enough. So it was different. It was different.
All right. But it wasn't so bad, was it? Was it terrible?
No, it wasn't horrible. But just one small observation.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know. Gamers in general are such social outcasts. So I don't know if that's something that can be really improved upon.
And is it that important?
Not really.
Probably not. Yeah. Just a small observation.
What are you whining about, buddy? All right. Let's end on a more positive note.
Okay.
Talk about the good moments of the tournament. What were the best parts? My Morgul just slaughtering everything.
Can I be honest without feeling like I'm going to offend someone?
No. Yes,
okay.
Of course.
I seriously loved it when people were doing damage to us. I know I'm weird, but
that Lord Croak. You really
yeah,
loved
that's
him.
the one. I loved it. He was just rolling dice and just hitting us hard, and I just thought that was awesome.
Now, how come whenever we're playing and I slaughter your army, you don't have that reaction?
Because I take it personally.
Yeah, well, okay.
I think you're being mean to me then. I don't know.
I'm going to take Lord Croak in the next game. We'll see what happens.
No, I want Lord
No.
Croak.
You're the one that likes to see everything
I
get
love the
slaughtered.
way he looked, too, on that...
Balewind
yeah,
vortex.
on the that was so. I love the way he looked, and I really enjoyed that. That was probably one of my favorite moments in the tournament.
Okay, I like it.
I did enjoy our first game too, when
Against Kenny.
Yeah, when Kenny jumped across there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good moments.
That was fun, and then we followed. That was fun.
Yeah. Okay.
What else?
We played against a flesh eater army. That's the one death component we don't really have much of.
Yeah,
you like that.
and I like that a lot. I love their army. I thought it was beautiful, first of all. But it had all the, it had the terror geists, and which I love. I love that model, and yeah, that was fun too.
Well, all in all, I think we had a good time. Next year, Holy Havoc. It's obviously a preliminary stage, but there was some discussion about having random teams. You're probably not going to be interested in that. Yeah.
No.
I might go to other tournaments, maybe Adepticon. I don't know if you might tag along, but you might not go to like the actual events or something.
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll see how much time off I can earn.
Yeah, true enough. Anyway, I think that's all we had to discuss in this video. Thanks for coming on, and we'll get you on maybe for something else. We'll see.
Maybe in December sometime.
Well, how about next weekend? We'll do a weekly video series.
So.
No, I know.
I'm not ready for that yet.
I know. Thank you for coming on. It's a lot of fun to talk with you. And, it is a husband and wife a team at a tournament is unusual. So that was a real treat for me as well to have you there.
I would do that again. I would do it again with you sometime.
So what you're saying is that
far future. No, I would.
What you're saying is that the couple kind of negative emotions from a couple games didn't spoil the thing.
No,
It outweighed by the more positive environment.
Right. I don't like that. So
And this isn't a particular critique at our opponents or something like that. It was mostly just kind of the invincibility of the Morgul.
And for me, it's more my problem, not someone else's. It's the fact that I don't handle those negative emotions very well. It makes me sad. That's the problem.
Yeah, sure.
Any negative emotion makes me sad, so that's just how I process it. And so I don't like feeling sad when I'm trying to have fun. So.
But when I'm in tears after you blow my army, you're just laughing.
Not a
problem.
What's the
deal?
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, that's it. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.